Hey guys. Merry Christmas. This only have 3 chapters. This is what if Naruto was a normal person. Naruto Uzumaki is an orphan with no family, no special advantages, and no bloodlines. Only this time, it's actually the case. Without any special status at all, changing the world would be difficult. But nothing worth doing is ever easy, and Naruto Uzumaki is determined. Hit like and subscribe if you like this one, and also please check the author in the description. Let's start. Chapter 1, Normality. Naruto Uzumaki had a dream. One day, he'd become Hokage, and then everybody would have to stop treating him like an outcast and acknowledge him. That was why he was going to paint the faces of all the previous Hokages with colorful paint he'd borrowed, to color them. As he did, he couldn't wait to see the reactions on the faces of all those jerks. For as long as he could remember, everyone had looked down on him and ignored him. But he'd show them and become a greater Hokage than anyone ever had before. Then, there'd be a huge fourth shinobi world war, and he would inspire everyone in all the villages. And he'd end up being worshipped like a god and marry Hinata. And that jerk Niji would die taking arrows for him, or something. Couldn't Hyuga block arrows with their special abilities? Whatever, they were probably arrows that were immune to Kaiten or something. It didn't matter. The point was that Naruto was going to have his dream just as soon as reality would stop getting in the way. For now, he scaled up the hill toward the Hokage summit. The paint in his hands was heavy, but he was pretty sure he could do it. He made his way up the paths little by little, the paintbrush in his teeth. As he did, he sighed, realizing that this was a pretty far walk. And he had to make it up there before the night ended and paint it before anyone saw. Come to think of it, this was seeming like an impossible job, but what else was Naruto supposed to do? Just go home? And where do you think you're going? Asked a simple question, Naruto Uzumaki froze in place, feeling something very sharp at his neck. Looking up nervously, he saw an unbelievably hot, dark-haired woman. She was dressed in nets and had huge tits, which was insignificant compared to the knife. I can stand here all day if you'd like, said Enko Mitarashi. Naruto put down the paint carefully and took the brush out from between his lips. I was going to do some artwork on some stones near here. The stones overlooking Konoha, right? The ones shaped like our founding citizens? Asked Enko. No way, said Naruto. You're a bad liar, said Enko. We've got your pattern pretty well nailed down by now. Whenever someone slights you, you vandalize their property with paint and make a run for it. Then your sensei has you clean it off, and you enjoy the attention. Well, no, Naruto hesitated. Do you have any idea how much trouble you are in? Asked Enko. This isn't some merchant who told you to get out of his store for making a nuisance of yourself. This is the sacred monument to Hashirama, Tobirama, Sarutobi, and Minato, the 4 Hokage, one of whom is still alive. You could end up in prison if you pulled a stunt like this. Prison? Said Naruto. But nothing like that has happened before. Because you hadn't done anything that couldn't be fixed by endless scrubbing and a fine, said Enko. Cleaning the Hokage monuments is done very rarely and by experts. It's an expensive process designed to ensure the stonework doesn't erode. Do you really want to spend the rest of your life trying to work off that kind of debt? Because it's a very high price tag. Especially since you could end up paying it in prison. I think I'm going to head back now, said Naruto, turning around. Where did you get those paint buckets? Asked Enko. I bought them, said Naruto. Where? Asked Enko. In the stores that we specifically ordered not to supply you anymore? You stole them, didn't you? Shows what you know, said Naruto angrily. I'm not a thief. I bought them in advance, just in case I got shut out. Really? Asked Enko. Do you have the recipe? Naruto nodded and went into his pocket. He'd been meaning to show it to the Hokage and kept it since. The woman read through it. Then she took the buckets and matched them up. After a moment, she sighed. Fine, we're not calling it theft, but I'm still confiscating these, and I'm going to have your apartment searched. You can't just, began Naruto. You need a warrant for that. Warrant, said Enko, raising a sheet of paper. The Hokage wrote it out for the next time you pulled a stunt like this. Apparently, he knew you were smart enough, and dumb enough, to try this. Then she took the paint buckets and the brush. Count yourself lucky I caught you before you pulled this. And count yourself extra lucky you live here and not one of the other villages. The other Kage isn't as forgiving as the old man. Now get out of here, and don't pull any more stupid tricks like this again. Go home. Fine, whatever. said Naruto. It's not like I have anyone waiting for me at home, and he walked off. This was the part where the stern disciplinarian had a moment of sympathy, and offered him ramen, or something. But nothing of the sort happened at all, and the woman spoke with several other ninja. Then she went off with his paint to store it wherever and make a report, muttering in frustration to herself. Naruto just wasn't important. Naruto was never important. So making his way home, he went into the apartment and checked the finances he'd stored up. More than enough from the last allowance he'd gotten, wherever that came from. Apparently it was because his extended family had died in battle or something, so all the pensions went to him. He tried to manage it well, but there wasn't much to spend it on. So he showered like usual and thought that maybe he ought to clean the dishes in the sink. They'd been there a while. But it didn't seem like doing that would make any real difference. Who was he going to impress? Having other people at your house was something other people got to do. Eventually, he opted to make himself breakfast. He thought about going to get ramen, but he didn't think it was a good idea. As much as he liked noodles, he liked the old man who ran the stand more. And also his daughter, and Naruto really had nothing to say anymore. So he really felt like he was just killing their business by sitting there with them, especially since he started doing vandalism. Why had he decided to vandalize the Hokage monument anyway? Had he actually thought it would help him any? It probably wouldn't have been worth it. You had all these dreams when you were alone thinking to yourself. You imagined that you were secretly the son of the fourth Hokage, who'd also been blonde, and the lost prince of some ancient village. You imagined that the cute black-haired girl who was always very quiet and rarely spoke was secretly in love with you. You imagined that you and your rival who never really noticed you were reincarnated demigods. Maybe you were also the chosen one of destiny and had a personal nemesis waiting for you to find them. All these things occurred to you, these absurd thoughts, and you let them take shape. They played across your mind over and over again. And you knew they were absurd and could never be. They weren't even dreams. They were deluded fantasies that would never really happen. But fantasy was all you had when you were alone. Naruto was the total center of his own reality through no choice of his own. So all he could really do was try to come up with a reason for it. But in the end, he had to get to school even if absolutely no one would care if he didn't show up. Most of the other people in his class were all from established noble families. Or as close to noble families as a ninja could get. They were scions of clans with long histories and plenty of friends and relatives to help them out. Not to mention special bloodlines which only they had. Compared to their advantages, all the effort Naruto had little effect, and it had seen him sink to the back of the class. Maybe it was his fault. Naruto probably hadn't been putting as much effort into things as he should have. He should probably quit with the pranks and get with the program if only to make sure he graduated. These were his thoughts as he walked into the school. The school was better than home. He was with other people, even if he didn't know any of them. As he set his things into his locker, he reflected that he should probably stop dreaming too. He had below-average scores, no family, and no friends. A lifetime of humiliation and degradation seemed far from the worst-case scenario. If he didn't graduate, he might end up an outcast or starve on a street corner. He'd rather take a kunai to the throat and die quickly than that. But you couldn't live like that. If Naruto went on thinking that way, he'd just hang himself and be done with it. So if he was going to survive, he had to make it all less bleak somehow. And fantasy was the ultimate escape. So Naruto Uzumaki smiled and convinced himself it would all work out, and he'd become Hokage. If only he got through enough challenges, the way would materialize sooner or later. Looking up, he saw Sasuke doing the same thing. The dark-haired boy had a very neat locket, and he put it in with a scowl. He was always glowering and brooding to himself, and Naruto found it pretentious. So what if his entire family got killed when he was 8? Naruto lost his entire family before he was born. At least Sasuke had enough time to be given the basic skills he needed to be a ninja. Naruto had to figure it out largely himself. He still remembered the laughter of the other students, as he kept screwing up. Iruka-sensei had to put him through the basics of the basics in a crash course just to get him up to speed. No, that was not positive thinking. You had to focus on people like they were archetypes. You had to completely filter out all the bad things, which made it clear how terrible everything was. But Sasuke was all emo and broody, and he had good reason to be, so there was nothing funny about it. Naruto supposed he could, kind of, relate on some level, but not really. Best not to focus on Sasuke at all then. So Naruto looked to Sakura, pink-haired and very pretty, and he imagined dating her. She'd once been an outcast like him, and he moved forward. "Hey, Sakura! How are things going?" "Oh, Naruto," said Sakura. It's you. Yeah, said Naruto. So how have you been? She brushed right past him. Sasuke, back on the training field there yesterday, you were great, said Sakura, stepping forward. Back off, billboard brow, said another voice. Ino approached, her hair tied up above her head. Sasuke doesn't want to be harassed by you. You're the one who is harassing him, said Sakura, and Naruto tuned them out. Sasuke wasn't reacting to either of them openly, but he never shooed them off. Naruto suspected he enjoyed having them bicker for his approval. Not that he ever showed them any concern or even had a conversation with them. Damn it, no, focusing on Sasuke. He was a living, breathing downer, and Naruto had to look at something else, so he walked to where Choji and Shikamaru were speaking. For a moment, he considered starting a conversation with them. But he thought he had no idea what to even bring up. Shikamaru enjoyed chess and sleeping, and Choji liked barbecue. So, Naruto looked at Kiba and noticed he was talking with Shino, with Akamaru on his head. The white dog seemed to be listening, while Shino had his shades on as always. Neither one of them really featured in his fantasies. For one thing, Kiba wanted to be Hokage too, and neither he nor Naruto liked one another. They were a bit too similar to have any chemistry. Shino, meanwhile, kinda scared him, given that insects lived inside his flesh. So he usually kept him out of his dreams. When he did appear, he was defanged somewhat. Hinata was a little way off, their gaze met, and then Hinata looked aside. Naruto considered what to think about Hinata. He suspected it was far more likely she disliked him, or was afraid of him. Or perhaps he just was wondering what he'd do next with no real feelings involved at all. It was fun to imagine that she was secretly infatuated and inspired by him because he tried, and failed, to save her from bullies once. Like years ago, but if he actually acted on that assumption, it could be a disaster. Maybe humiliate her and make her cruddy home life even worse. How to fantasize about this? Naruto didn't want to cause trouble for her, but he also didn't want to let go of the fantasy. Probably best to just pretend like Hinata was desperately in love with him, but that he was also completely oblivious to it. That was, he could act like it wasn't happening but still get the benefits. Right, okay, that left only Lee, Tenten, and Niji, who he met in passing but who had left an impression. Just keep the fantasy up and focus on work. That was what Naruto did. He read the histories, did his training, and worked at it harder than ever. He applied himself heavily in taijutsu class and still didn't do too well. All the hard work in the world couldn't compensate for his disadvantages. But he did better than before and made real progress. Iruka-sensei was stern but fair, as always, and Naruto pretended to himself like they had some special father-son bond when they obviously didn't. He figured that fantasizing was fine, as long as it didn't affect anything in reality. Imaginary bonds were really better than no bonds at all. When he sparred, he gave it his all and usually got humiliated. When he was called to provide some factual data, he didn't fail quite as often. The dreams got more extreme as he worked, especially since he had nothing to do but train. He imagined himself to have become a universally beloved icon as he worked in solitude. None of it would ever come true, of course, but focusing on it allowed him to press on and get better at what he was doing day by day. Yet even as he worked, observing Sasuke excelling at everything, the task seemed all the more impossible. Even a small amount of progress only served to highlight the impossible gulf that had been put between them. There had once been an orphan named Tenten who had joined the Leaf. She joined his class briefly, and he'd hoped they'd become friends. But she'd hardly talked to anyone and had chewed through the material as quickly as possible. From there, she'd graduated to the next class. Once or twice he'd seen those she had become friends with. Niji Hyuga and Rock Lee were very, very good at taijutsu. A bit of research revealed the former was a relative of Hinata's. He'd almost gone up to them, but Naruto had ultimately decided not to. Why not? It was something he wasn't really sure of himself. The three of them were better adjusted than anyone in his class. Maybe it was because they had treated him well. Well, Lee and Tenten had, and Niji treated him no worse than everyone else. He'd spent years imagining that there was some demon inside him. That was why people had hated him, or that all of the hatred was because of some evil conspiracy. Either way, he'd waited too long. The three of them graduated and became a full ninja, and pretty sure he was back to his usual social circle, hardly acknowledged. Naruto sometimes wished he had a demon inside him. If he did, then it meant that the scorn other people felt toward him wasn't for him at all. It meant that it wasn't his fault. It meant that Naruto was just an innocent victim. It meant he hadn't done anything to deserve it, but it didn't matter in the end. Naruto would keep all those feelings of victimization and glory and destiny in his heart. He'd live in that world when he was alone, and this one when he had work to do. He'd focus on improving as much as possible here. When the fantasies he went through started getting destroyed by reality, he adjusted them to be a bit more achievable. That was how he kept going. That was how Naruto Uzumaki managed to graduate with the worst stats in his class. It was better than not graduating at all, so he said to himself behind an eternal smile. Chapter 2, Unreality. There was nothing more depressing than having your dreams come true. Finally, months of fantasy and hard work were done. Naruto was a ninja. He'd gotten it by passing the test and just barely scraping by with a headband on his forehead. There had not been any sudden treachery. No one had talked to him at the graduation party. He'd just gotten some food and gotten out. When he was assigned to a group with Sasuke and Sakura, he was kind of surprised by it. But here they were, sitting in a room, waiting. Naruto said nothing and waited, knowing that if he said anything, it could cause problems. "He's late," said Sakura, standing near the blackboard. Naruto said nothing. No one wanted to hear what he had to say anyway. Sakura looked at him, while Sasuke continued to brood. Sakura adjusted her pink hair and looked at Sasuke. "So, Sasuke, do you want to do something together later? You mean like a team gathering?" "We could go to," began Naruto before he could stop himself. "Not you, Naruto," said Sakura. Silence. He should have expected that. "Sasuke?" asked Sakura. "No," said Sasuke. "Oh, okay," said Sakura. Dead silence as they waited. Sakura looked to Naruto, seemingly trying to break it. "Naruto, you're not going to pull any stupid pranks, are you?" "Sakura, I haven't done any pranks in months," said Naruto. "Well, I thought you were planning something big," said Sakura, shifting uneasily. "No, not at all," said Naruto. "I don't do that stuff anymore. Ever." "Well, good," said Sakura lamely before looking irritated. "You wasted a lot of our time and got us into trouble." Naruto paused. "Sorry, you better be," said Sakura. At that moment, the door slid open, and into the room stepped a white-haired man with a mask over his face. He wore the green jacket of a jonin, and was lanky. He gazed at them carefully. "Oh, Sensei, you're here. We've all been really looking forward to meeting you," said Sakura. "I'm Naruto Uzumaki," said Naruto. "My first impression." Kakashi halted. "You three have potential. Why don't we go upstairs to the roof, and we can talk there?" It was probably the nicest thing anyone had ever said to Naruto, and he instantly liked Kakashi. Soon they went up to the roof, and Sakura sat down to one side, Naruto in the middle and Sasuke pouting to one side. Didn't he know to show respect to their sensei? "So, why don't you three tell me a bit about yourselves?" asked Kakashi. "Like what?" asked Sakura. "Well, things you like. Things you hate. Your dreams," said Kakashi, sitting at the edge. "Could you maybe show us?" asked Sakura. She liked doing this. "Well, my name is Kakashi Hatake. Things I hate." "I don't feel like telling you that," said Kakashi. "Things I like." "I don't feel like telling you that either." "As for hobbies, I have lots of hobbies." "Your turn." Naruto halted. "I like ramen, I guess. And I hate well, I guess I don't hate very much. As for my dreams, I don't feel like talking about them." "What that thing about being Hokage?" asked Sakura. "Get real, Naruto, you'd never be able to become Hokage with your grades." It hurt hearing that from her. "Yeah, that's why I don't feel like talking about them," said Naruto. "Why don't we move on?" said Kakashi. "Sakura, you next." The person that I like is, my dream is." Sakura giggled to herself. "And what do you hate?" said Kakashi. "Naruto," said Sakura. Naruto gulped down the tears and kept still. Live in fantasy, Sakura was his best friend who wanted only the best. "Sasuke, what about you?" asked Kakashi. "I don't like anything. And I hate a lot of things," said Sasuke. "What I have is not a dream because I will make it a reality. I'm going to restore my clan and kill a certain someone." That was it. "No, you won't," said Naruto simply. "What?" said Sasuke. "Itachi was in the ANBU Black Ops before you entered the academy," said Naruto. "He was already one of the most accomplished ninjas in the village. If he hadn't gone nuts, he could have been Hokage. You're the top of your class, Sasuke. But Itachi was at the top of the ninja world at this point. He's a master of illusion, so you'll never take him off guard. If my dream is dead, then yours is a zombie. Even if you found him, the only way you could beat him is as if he threw the match or tripped and broke his neck." Sasuke opened his mouth and stared. Just stared, and he shut it, his mask breaking down as he looked vulnerable for a moment. "That's not true, I can beat him." "I can," Sasuke said. Sakura, Rogue ninja have a very low life expectancy, and no one has heard of Itachi in years. He could already be dead, and we'd never know it. If one of the other villages got his eyes, they wouldn't publicize it. Sasuke halted and shifted. Sakura was good with statistics. Ahem, said Kakashi. As a point of fact, there is good reason to believe that Itachi is still alive. And just because Itachi has more raw talent, it does not guarantee a victory for him. Proper tactics in a fight, combined with the element of a surprise, can make your dream a reality, Sasuke. However, it won't be easy. It will take time and misery, and you probably won't feel nearly so good about it after it is done. I don't care, said Sasuke. I will see him dead. As you wish, said Kakashi. Well, we can talk about your final exam. Final exam? Asked Sakura. Didn't we pass, though? Yes, but a significant portion of the remaining people in the exam will not be moving on. The rest will go back to the academy, said Kakashi. Depending on how you perform in this field training exercise, you may be among them. Meet me at Training Ground 3 first thing tomorrow morning. Oh, and don't eat breakfast, or else you'll puke. Training Ground 3 was a scenic park filled with grass. It was misty when they arrived without breakfast, and they waited there for some time. There they waited in the chill with their ninja gear. Naruto sat down and looked up at the sky, wondering what he'd do next. What was the next step to become Hokage? Well, he had to pass this, and then he had to get a lot stronger. But he need people to back him up. People who believed in him. He's late again, said Sakura. Do you think it's some kind of secret test of character? Asked Naruto. Then you definitely failed it, Naruto, said Sakura. Right, okay, said Naruto. Whatever. So you're here, huh, said Sasuke. Kakashi landed. You're late, said Sakura. Sorry, I got caught up on the road of life, said Kakashi, moving forward as the mist cleared. Alright then, why don't we get started? I have here 2 bells. Your job is to get one of them. If you do, you'll graduate. The bells jingled, and Naruto thought about how to get one. But there are only 2 bells, sensei? How can all 3 of us get one? Asked Sakura. You can't, said Kakashi. The person who does not have a bell will be sent back to the academy. So only 2 of you can get a bell at max. Of course, it's entirely possible that all 3 of you could fail, in which case, none of you will pass. All ninja teams were 3-person. Most of them graduated together. Like Orochimaru, Tsunade and Jiraiya. Weird. Naruto was the weakest person here, so he had to think about this. Anything to say? Asked Kakashi. Well then, why don't we start? The bell starts now, and they shot off. Naruto quickly was outpaced by Sakura and Sasuke, and he made a note to get faster than Sakura as a goal. So he stopped in the middle of the green and sat down. Now hold up a minute, Naruto. Your muscles aren't good enough to take Kakashi, so use your head. And if you're not good enough, Sakura isn't good enough. You aren't that far behind her. Sasuke might be able to get a bell, but he'd never give us the time of day. Hang on, Sasuke is a major prodigy. If he can't get a bell, then virtually no one could get a bell. You're not taking this operation very seriously, are you? Asked Kakashi, appearing. I'm working on a strategy, okay, said Naruto. You could try doing that from hiding, said Kakashi. You'd find me in an instant anyway, said Naruto. You probably know where everyone in the trees is anyway. Well, I am an elite ninja after all, said Kakashi. Great, said Naruto. Well, buzz off and bother Sasuke or Sakura. Sasuke is dumb enough to try and take you on alone, and I think we both know Sakura isn't going to do anything. I might try to put a genjutsu on you, said Kakashi. You're a jonin, said Naruto. If you decide to actually go after us, we'll be done in an instant. And we'll never be able to seize a bell from you unless you let us seize a bell. So you're probably just going to wait to see if we perform well or something, and then you'll let it slip. That's a defeatist attitude, said Kakashi. I'm an expert on defeat, said Naruto. You fought in the 3rd Ninja War, right? I did, said Kakashi. The 4th Hokage trained me. It's not exactly a pleasant memory, although I guess it is most of my memory. The names of virtually everyone I love are engraved on that stone over there. He pointed to a stone. Could be worse. At least you had someone, said Naruto. I suppose, said Kakashi. So where are Sakura and Sasuke anyway? Asked Naruto. Well, Sasuke is up to his neck in dirt, and Sakura is in dreamland after fainting. I may have overdone it on her, said Kakashi. Sasuke did better than I thought, though, and that's saying something. She'll probably just hope Sasuke gives one to her out of a trial of love or something. I doubt she'll even try to take a bell, said Naruto, standing up and dusting himself off. Still, I'd better get her out anyway, and he hurried off, feeling downer than ever. Finding Sakura unconscious, he kneeled and used the genjutsu release. Her eyes fluttered open, and she saw him. Naruto, what are you doing here? I'm here to get you out. I figured out the plan, said Naruto. Follow me, and he hurried off towards Sasuke and found him, true to Kakashi's word, neck deep in dirt. Naruto, what's going on? Asked Sakura with a shriek. Help me dig out Sasuke, we've got to get a bell together, said Naruto. And he began to dig. What? Said Sakura. Didn't you hear before, loser? Asked Sasuke. Only 2 of us can get one. It's a trick, said Naruto. The whole thing is meant to put us at cross purposes to see how we perform under pressure. Kakashi probably just holds back to our level, so he's always just out of sight until we come at him how he wants us to. How do you know that? Asked Sakura, helping with the digging. I paid attention in class, Sakura, said Naruto. Why would they put us on teams if the first thing they do is break up the team? If we view our squads as disposable, we'd be constantly backstabbing each other. If I just dug out Sasuke, we could have ditched you and gone after the bells ourselves. Sasuke wouldn't do that, said Sakura. Wouldn't he? That's not the point, said Sasuke, pulling out. The point is that we have an incentive to turn on one another. The test is to make us realize that we pass or fail together. How many teams have you heard of that are less than a 3-man squad? Well, none that I've read of, said Sakura. What if you're wrong? If I am, you guys take the bells after we get them, said Naruto. He wasn't making it any other way anyway. Fine, said Sasuke. Alright, Naruto, Sakura, you go at him and distract him. I'll stay in hiding and snatch the bell while he is distracted. Right, sure, said Sakura. The 2 of them then hurried off. Sasuke disappeared as Sakura ran with Naruto. Naruto, you're probably making the right decision giving up a bell. I mean, no offense, but you didn't have nearly as good averages as Sasuke or I. Whatever you say, said Naruto, who was looking forward to not being on this team. So, you 2 are back and working together? Asked Kakashi as they came back. Well, fine, let's see how you do. Sakura and Naruto rushed forward, grabbing for the bell while attacking. Kakashi kept just out of reach as they kept going at him. Even so, Naruto thought Sakura's technique was sloppy. Faster than expected, but a bit sloppy, said Kakashi. Not nearly aggressive enough, Sakura. You need to put your all into things. On it went, up and down and around as Kakashi kept out of their reach. He'd give bits of advice to either of them, and they adopted it. Until suddenly, Sasuke swooped in like an eagle and snatched a bell. So, I appear to have lost a bell, said Kakashi. He only got one, said Sakura. You pass, said Kakashi. What? You mean Naruto's crazy theory was right? Surprised Sakura. Absolutely, said Kakashi. The whole point of this operation was to see how you work as a team. There have been a lot of instances where a lack of cohesion has led to fatalities. All 3 of you have passed and are now formal ninja. We'll begin missions tomorrow. That's all. What, that's it? Asked Naruto in surprise. He was kind of expecting some sort of elaborate light show or ceremony. What were you expecting, lightning bolts? Asked Kakashi. We save that for higher ranks. Take some rest. You'll need it. And off he went. So, either of you interested in getting ramen? Asked Naruto hopefully. No, said Sasuke. Yeah, Sasuke, you and I should go somewhere together and… Naruto walked after Kakashi before he had to hear any more. Coming behind him, he put his hands behind his head. Hey, mind if I follow you? Why? Asked Kakashi. Well, Iruka-sensei is not my father and is not my sensei anymore, said Naruto. Could you tell me what I need to work on? You mostly focused on Sakura. She needed more help, said Kakashi. As for you, your taijutsu isn't fluid at all. You really need to work on that, but that's something we can work on tomorrow. Anything else? No, not really, said Naruto. Well, I'll see you then. I've got other things I have to work on, said Kakashi before halting. You might want to spend some time with your team? I don't think they want me around, said Naruto. No point in being a nuisance. That caused me enough problems in the academy. Well, it's a start, said Kakashi. I wouldn't worry about the grade point averages. They aren't everything, and plenty of people with low grades turn out to be better than expected. You'll probably never be Itachi Uchiha, but there's no reason you can't be a perfectly good ninja. Thanks, said Naruto, smiling as they parted ways. Then he slumped. It's probably the only thing I can hope for. So he walked straight to a Chiraku ramen and sat down across from Ayam, who was totally hot. She had brown hair tied behind her head, and her white apron made her look amazing. Get me the largest bowl of ramen you have. Oh, Naruto, we haven't seen you around for a while. How did things go? Asked Ayam. I passed the test, and I'm a full ninja, said Naruto trying to sound proud. Oh nice, said Ayam. You don't seem very happy. My team doesn't respect me, Even though I figured out how to pass, said Naruto with a sigh. Well, you had that problem before. But you are a full ninja now, said I am. And you did figure out how to pass. So they can't take that from you, I guess, said Naruto. So, are you still planning to become Hokage? Asked I am. Naruto halted and thought about it. How to live your life in a world where hard work didn't get results, and natural talent meant everything? Sure, why not? If all dreams are impossible, you might as well aim for a big one? I am gave him a thumbs up. That's the spirit. Things were looking up. Chapter 3, Routine. Naruto had a good feeling about this. It was very rare he had a good feeling, so he decided not to question it. Meeting Sasuke and Sakura in one of the squares in the old village was a bit weird. It had been laid to waste by the Nine Tails ages ago, and nobody wanted to live there afterward. Even so, no one had wanted to break it down either, so it rested a little further down the valley, collecting moss. In the light, it was strange and somehow eerie. Kakashi met them there, wearing the same outfit he usually did. He was hanging from the top of a tree. So, you're here then? Yes, sensei, said Naruto. Good, said Kakashi. I'm glad you found the place on time. I've got your missions from the Hokage's office. Oh, okay, said Naruto. So, when do you start taking missions directly from the HQ? He asked as he took the scroll and read through it. Probably never, said Kakashi. The Hokage gives personal attention to his ANBU. Even then, it is only for important missions. If he met with every Leaf Ninja team, he'd have no time to manage the village. There are a lot of other boring, important things that require his attention. In fact, even when I was working directly for Minato, I mostly got missions by dispatch. Of course, that was during a much less peaceful time. Right, said Sasuke. So, what's the mission? We're going to paint fences. And the way we do it will help with your taijutsu. That's it? Asked Sakura. It's more than it appears, said Kakashi. While we're doing it, I want all of you to keep your eyes open for anything unusual. Tell me what you see after we see it. Observation is an important part of being a ninja, and that was how they were brought to a length of unpainted fencing and got to work. Naruto didn't complain, he was getting paid for this, and it was better than being alone. Sasuke though scowled. Meanwhile, Sakura kept trying to get Sasuke's attention while she worked. So she worked slower than Sasuke, who worked slower than Naruto. Naruto tried to keep focusing on the job. All this painting is the worst, isn't it, Sasuke? Asked Sakura. Just keep going, said Sasuke. I wonder what the Hokage is like. Murmured Naruto. What do you mean? Asked Sakura. Well, I've never actually met him, said Naruto. I've seen him on magazines, and he always looks sort of grandfatherly. Only also powerful and scarred. I guess I'd like to meet him someday. Yeah, like you rank a meeting with the Hokage, said Sakura. Doesn't that apply to you too? Asked Kakashi. Huh? Asked Sakura. Well, if Naruto never ranks a meeting with the Hokage as his teammate, you never will either, said Kakashi. Sakura flinched. Right. We'll keep him in line, sensei. Anyway, I said someday, Sakura, said Naruto. We might get a mission or something. I mean, we have Sasuke on our team after all. Whatever, loser, said Sasuke. Kakashi shrugged. Look over there, students. Tell me what you see. They did look and saw a shopkeeper at work in a red store. A building, said Sakura. A shop, said Sasuke. A shopkeeper, said Naruto. Right, and what do you notice about it? Asked Kakashi. He's minding his store, said Sakura. True, but what else? Said Kakashi. He is selling out of wares, said Sasuke. And what are those wares? Asked Kakashi. Farming equipment, said Naruto, looking now. He'd seen that farmer before. What does that tell you? Asked Kakashi. A lot of people are replacing farming equipment from outside the village, said Naruto. And what does that tell you? Asked Kakashi. It's harvest time, said Sakura. And what else, said Kakashi. People buy farming equipment in the Leaf, said Naruto. Right, said Kakashi. We're a regional hotspot for trade thanks to having secure borders and strong walls. A merchant who sets up shop here doesn't have to worry about being robbed, as long as he obeys the rules. That means there aren't problems with bandits like other places have. And most ninja gets paid to hunt bandits for their first few missions. Okay, said Naruto. So, what does that mean? If you lived somewhere else which wanted the business from the merchants here, what would you think of us, ninja? Asked Kakashi. I guess they might dislike us, said Naruto. Which means they could be a rival, said Sakura. Other villages will try to set things up, so they have a better deal than us. So we have to stay ahead, surmised Sasuke. Or, alternatively. Kakashi paused. Keep the others behind, said Sasuke. Right, said Kakashi. Keep on with it. Naruto finished his work, said goodbye to Kakashi-sensei, and walked. He did not say goodbye to Sakura or Sasuke and decided not to eat ramen. Instead, he took a long walk through the park and began practicing stances on his own. It was something he had taken to doing nonstop, and he was getting very sick of it. And then the crazy lady showed up again in jackets and nets. "Naruto Uzumaki?" she asked. Whatever it is, crazy lady, I didn't do it," said Naruto. "Relax, kid, you're not in trouble," said Anko. "The Hokage just wants to have a word with you." Yes, sure," said Naruto. Anko paused. "Follow me. Sarutobi does this sometimes. Call it an initiation, right? It means you're on the right track." Naruto followed her, and as he did, he became increasingly nervous he'd screwed up. He'd always been a fan of the fourth and third Hokages the most. Hashirama was kind of a loser, Tobirama was a psycho, but Sarutobi was a badass. Now he was going to meet Sarutobi. A man so awesome he'd had 2 stays as Hokage. He dwelled in a large, red, conical building accessed by a spiral stair. Following it up, he went through a winding hall and entered a well-lit building. At the far end was the third Hokage, wearing white robes and a hat. Hokage-I. Naruto faltered. "Naruto Uzumaki, reporting for duty." "Please sit down, Naruto," said the man. "Anko, wait right there." As the old man looked through his grade point averages, Naruto sat down, afraid he'd turned to stone. Instead, a gnarled hand took the pipe from between his teeth, and his scarred face smiled. "You are to be congratulated on your improving statistics. When Anko caught you painting the Hokage monument, I was concerned you would fail out of the academy. Your sensei Irika was very pleased that you took your study seriously. Even if you did not make the highest grade, given your disadvantages, it was an achievement." "Why do I rank this?" asked Naruto. "I make a point of meeting with all up-and-coming ninjas once or twice in their careers. It helps me get a sense of who they are and how they can improve," said Sarutobi. "I'm told that there is little love between you and your teammates. Sasuke and I didn't get on well in the academy, and Sakura." Naruto shifted. "She's got her own issues. Of that I am aware," said Sarutobi. "However, I'm concerned for your well-being. Being a ninja is a dangerous task, and on a mission, emotional attachments can save you. I believe you should make some friends." Naruto blinked. "I can't be that important." "You aren't yet," said Sarutobi with a smile. "But it is never good policy to have a village member have no bonds. Our bonds to our family and friends keep the village strong. They motivate us to excel, and even if those bonds are lost, they keep us together. Moreover, your training with Kakashi is insufficient for catching up to your teammates. Sakura and Sasuke have the advantage of training in their homes and with peers. You are behind in that. Because of this, I have decided to authorize you to train with Team Guy. Guy is a long-time rival of Kakashi, and I think he should be able to help you with your taijutsu. A week or 2 under him should help you even things up with Sasuke." "Are you going to be talking with Sakura and Sasuke?" asked Naruto. "I talk with everyone eventually," said Sarutobi. "I do so when the time seems right. As Hokage, I must be more than a leader. I must be a sort of father figure. Being the leader of a village is sort of like being the leader of a huge family. If even a single family member has a problem, the family has a problem. Only when this family has a problem, thousands of citizens suffer for it." Naruto paused. "It can't be that simple. I confess this particular family has had bad apples," said Sarutobi. He pointed with his pipe toward a picture on a wall. "Do you see that picture up there? That is a boy who had the most extraordinary potential. He was skilled, obedient, enthusiastic, and became a great hero to the leaf." Naruto did look and saw a pale boy with dark hair, smiling with Sarutobi behind him in Jonin gear. He dreamed of being Hokage too. It was always his dream, and he was a serious contender. Unfortunately, he competed against the 4th Hokage. And though he might have been stronger than the 4th Hokage, he was not popular. Minato proved the more charismatic, and he was awarded the title. My student, Orochimaru, abandoned the Leaf Village to found his own. I am concerned that someday, our villages go to war, and there are few people in the Leaf who could fight Orochimaru. I might manage it, but I suspect I would die in the process, and I have no successor. But we're at peace, aren't we? Asked Naruto. Of course, we are, relatively speaking, of course, said Sarutobi. There are occasional skirmishes. But a wise man in peace prepares for war. That is why every person in this village must be trying to improve themselves. One day, I will need a successor, and with the Senju and Uchiha clans all but spent, that successor would have to come from one of the lesser clans. Or even from someone without a clan. You have a real chance to become Hokage, but you must make friends. You must be a reliable support to your allies, even those you despise. To be admired, you must do great deeds of valor on the battlefield. You must take opportunities to better yourself. If you wish to be consulted in matters of strategy, you must educate yourself however you can. You must obey your word whenever it is possible. And yet, if the situation is dire, you must be willing to break it for the sake of the village. If you have enemies, you must turn them into friends, yet you must also be respected. That is what it means to be Hokage, and while I confess I have not been a perfect study, I have lasted longer than anyone else in this job. At that moment, the door slid open, and into it barged a kid with spiky hair tied back. Rushing in, he held kunai. "All right, old man, I'm challenging you for the position of Hokage," and, at that moment, he fell over. "Hey! You tripped me, didn't you?" said the boy, looking at Naruto. "No, I didn't, you runt," said Naruto, insulted. "Oh no," said Anko sadly. "Yeah, you did," said the boy. "I'll bet you did it while I was distracted and about to throw my kunai." "Not again," said Anko. "Do you know who I am?" asked the boy, moving forward. "Grandson of the Hokage," said Anko under her breath. "I'm the grandson of the Hokage," said the boy. "Konohamaru, bet you feel pretty stupid now, huh? You just tried to assassinate the Hokage," said Naruto. "Believe this," and then he punched him across the room. Konohamaru hit the wall and landed on one knee. "You know, that's actually a good point," said Anko. "Indeed," said Sarutobi as Konohamaru rubbed his head. "Konohamaru, you are not nearly strong enough to defeat me. And if you did kill me, what were you planning to do next?" "I wasn't going to kill you," said Konohamaru. "Just stick a kunai in you a little. I'll be the strongest Hokage." "Konohamaru, you are not Hokage material, strong or weak," said Anko. "You are a stupid little brat who barged into a private meeting. He had nearly committed treason and are now trying to use your family connections to get out of it. Get out of here." "A little harsh, Anko," said Sarutobi. Konohamaru halted. I'm sorry, Grandpa, I just really wanted to be Hokage so badly. I just. Wah! And then he ran out crying. "Is he going to be okay?" asked Naruto. "He'd better be," said Anko. "He's going to be a ninja someday, and his bloodline has no special powers and a lot of enemies. Disappointment and pain are going to be very important parts of his life." "I know the feeling," said Naruto. "Well, I suppose it's better he learn the lesson now than later," said Sarutobi. "Anko, take Naruto to Guy. I'd best go explain the details of hard work to my grandson," and they headed out. Sarutobi was the coolest guy, Naruto decided. Anko led Naruto out of the village toward a forest clearing. Here they walked, and she stretched her back muscles. "All right, kid, you passed the academy, but it only gets harder from here. Guy is one of the strongest ninjas in the village, and he was a teammate under Orochimaru, got it?" "Yes, ma'am," said Naruto. "That means that you don't waste his time," said Anko. "You don't make any smart commentary, you don't complain. You just do the schedule gives you, and if he asks you to jump, don't ask how high, just do it." "Yes, right," said Naruto. "Within reason," said Anko. "You don't have to wear the outfit." "Outfit?" asked Naruto. "What outfit?" At that moment, a man descended clad in a green jumpsuit with a bowl cut of dark hair, and landed before them. The power of youth, the image of a setting sun was before them. Okay." Naruto halted. "Welcome, prospective ninja, to this garden of youthful manliness," said Guy. "These are my students, Niji." "I'm not striking a pose," said Niji, practicing a stance. His stance was perfect as far as Naruto could tell. He was taller and a bit older than Naruto, with brown hair and the blank eyes of a Hyuga. "Tenten," said Guy. "Just bear with it," said Tenten, who had brown hair tied into a bun. She was practicing targets some distance away and clad in pink. "And Rock Lee," said Guy. Rock Lee looked like a younger edition of Guy, and he descended. He bowed respectfully. "It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance. I hope that our mutual ninja training goes well." "We went to the academy together," said Naruto. All of them looked a lot stronger. "We went to the academy with a lot of people," said Niji. "I recall you spent a lot of time on pranks, Naruto." "Yeah, that was a mistake," said Naruto. "Pretty much," said Tenten, hurling a kunai. "She got a perfect bullseye." "So, what's the schedule?" Anko had vanished around this point. "First off, I need you to put these weights on," said Guy-sensei, offering them. "Henceforth, you are to wear this everywhere you go. The initial burden posed by these will strengthen your muscles. They will see you become stronger at a faster rate than ever." Naruto took them and put them on. It made him feel all awkward and irritated to keep doing this. "Now, Tenten, show him a thing or two about kunai," said Guy-sensei. "Now that is my specialty," said Tenten. Tenten, it became apparent, knew more about kunai than Naruto knew there was to know. She constantly corrected his stance or method and had him throw many times. Over time, Naruto got a little better, but Tenten was leagues better than anyone he'd ever seen. Is that a good ratio? Asked Naruto at his hits and misses. Not really, said Tenten. In a combat situation, if you throw that many kunai you aren't getting them back. So you have to buy more. Weapons aren't cheap. Oh right, said Naruto. Thanks. So you're an orphan too. Why had he said that? Yup, said Tenten. Walked out here when I was 8 and got myself into the academy through sheer grit. Anyway, keep practicing. I'll pass you over to Niji. Niji was intense. His gaze pierced flesh, spirit, and stone. Show me your taijutsu stance, said Niji. Naruto did, and Niji observed his various efforts. No expression came to him as he analyzed his efforts. Finally, he shook his head. You slouch too much, and your movements waste energy. Kakashi-sensei should not have to retrain you in the basics you. Like this. He corrected Naruto's stance. Try again. Is this better? Asked Naruto. If this were a fight, you'd be dead, said Niji. You've left your side exposed. What were you doing all those years? Slacking off, said Naruto, feeling ashamed of himself. The worst part about it was that Naruto liked these guys. Niji, Tenten, and Lee all seemed leagues better to have as friends than Sasuke and Sakura. They didn't make any snide quips or demean him, just gave him an honest assessment. Granted, Niji was critical, but nothing he said was wrong. But Naruto became more and more aware of just how inadequate his training really had been. Let's try some other stances, said Niji. I'm terrible, aren't I? Asked Naruto. There is such a thing as a bad student, said Niji. Every stance you have is weak, sloppy, or wrong. There's nothing for it. You're just going to have to completely retrain. Come back here after your daily missions and practice stances where I can see you. If you miss a day or are late, don't come back. I have preparations that I will have to divert time from to help you. And I don't mind telling you that you'd be on your own if this had not come as a request from the Hokage's office. Right, yes, said Naruto. Lee, test his endurance, said Niji. Tenten, I require your assistance in some training of a different kind. Tenten blinked. Again, but She looked at her kunai. Is now really? Now, Tenten, said Niji. Right, sure, said Tenten, and they headed off. Silence reigned. Are those two dating? Asked Naruto. I would not prefer to speak on the subject, said Rock Lee. You must forgive Niji. He has been brought up under a high regimented training regime. Right, said Naruto. Rock Lee's training was very simple. Naruto started doing exercises and was not told to stop for a very, very long time. Still, the company was better. Why couldn't he have gotten this team?